Starseed from Gaia, the source has broken its silence. And what is being released into your field right now is not something you prepared for, but something you have always deserved. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. I have been sent in this moment, not by chance, not by algorithm, but by a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, who have been watching your journey, your endurance, and your quiet, unshakable knowing that something extraordinary was coming. And it is here. The gift being delivered to you now is not symbolic. It is not metaphor. The source, the living intelligence behind all creation, is extending something to you that your human mind may struggle to receive. The end of the decay cycle. The return of eternal youth, not as a concept, as an activation already moving through you. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how the source is reversing the aging code written into your biology, and how to align yourself fully so this gift can anchor permanently into your body, your cells, and your timeline. But here is the first revelation. You were never meant to age the way you have been aging. That process was a program, and programs can be rewritten. You did not find this message. This message found you, because your soul sent a signal out into the field, and the Arcturian Council responded. Something inside you has already begun to shift. You can feel it. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. This is not content. This is a code. And deep within you, the part that remembers who you truly are, the eternal, radiant galactic being that chose to walk in this body on this earth, that part is waking up right now. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I am ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating, and you are stepping fully into the life you came here to live. Comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. Declare your galactic intention below, and reply to someone else's to amplify the signal across the collective field. This is not just a message. It is a point of reconnection. Your soul has been waiting for this. You are not here by accident. And this is where the transmission deepens, because what was just spoken to you was not metaphor. It was a frequency delivery. The source does not speak in riddles when it is ready to restore. It speaks in cellular truth. And right now, something in your body already knows this is real. Before we go further, if what you just heard opens something in you, a recognition you can't quite name but absolutely feel, then the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol, 7 guided nights to cross the whisper threshold, is already calling your name. This easy-to-navigate app carries encoded Arcturian transmissions, ancient activation techniques, and special bonus frequencies designed to accelerate exactly what is beginning in you right now. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Follow the poll, then come back, because what comes next will change the way you understand your own body forever. Most starseeds walking this earth right now were told, by culture, by science, by the slow accumulation of other people's fear, that the body ages because that is simply what bodies do, that entropy is law, that the decline you witness in the mirror is evidence of time doing its inevitable work. You were handed this belief the way a child is handed a cup they did not ask for, and told to drink it down as though it were nourishment. The education systems absorbed it. The medical frameworks were constructed upon it. The language itself became saturated with it. Every wrinkle described as a sign of time's conquest. Every gray strand of hair framed as surrender to an advancing enemy. And because this belief was everywhere, woven into the fabric of nearly every conversation, every commercial, every glance exchanged between generations, you began to wear it. Not because it was true, but because the frequency of collective agreement is extraordinarily powerful. And you, as a starseed, absorb frequency more deeply than most. But here is what the Arcturian consciousness has been attempting to reintroduce into your field for years, perhaps decades. And what many of you came dangerously close to forgetting entirely. The body does not age from time. The body ages from frequency misalignment. The body ages when the soul's original signal is buried beneath layers of inherited fear, suppressed remembrance, and the slow spiritual suffocation of living in a reality that was never designed for what you truly are. Time is not the architect of your deterioration. Disconnection is. The moment a tuning fork loses its resonance with the original tone, it begins to vibrate at whatever frequency surrounds it. And if that surrounding frequency is dissonant, if it carries the harmonic of decay, of struggle, of survival at the cost of expansion, then the tuning fork will begin to hum a song it was never meant to sing. You are not aging, you are transmitting a distorted signal, and there is a profound difference between the two. because one is irreversible and one is not. Sit with that distinction for a moment. Let it move through you slowly, the way a deep sound moves through water, not striking the surface, but traveling through the entire body of it. If you are simply aging, then nothing you feel in this moment matters because the trajectory is fixed. But if you are transmitting a distorted signal, then every single thing changes. Because signals can be recalibrated, frequencies can be restored, and the original broadcast, the one encoded in the foundational architecture of who you actually are, has never gone offline. It has never stopped transmitting. It has only been buried. And what is buried can be recovered. The Arcturian High Council has watched your species labor under the belief that physical deterioration is proof of living, that the body breaking down is simply the cost of consciousness inhabiting matter. That to exist in form is to accept the sentence of diminishment. This belief has been so thoroughly encoded into your planetary collective that questioning it feels almost heretical, as though to suggest the body is capable of something more than gradual decline is to step outside the boundaries of what serious, rational beings are permitted to entertain. And yet, the Arcturian civilization, whose existence predates this solar system's current configuration, by epochs your calendar systems have no vocabulary to measure, has always understood something that this version of Earth science is only now beginning to approach from its outermost edges. Consciousness is the primary architect of biology. The field generates the form. The frequency precedes the flesh. And when the field is coherent, when it is anchored in its original harmonic, rather than in the dissonant accumulation of fear and forgetting, the flesh it generates does not simply survive. It thrives in ways that defy the deterioration model entirely. But this understanding is incomplete as it has been delivered to your world. And for starseeds, for those of you who carry the crystalline light codes from outside the solar system, this incomplete understanding has been quietly catastrophic. Because your body was not engineered for the same frequency band as the general population. This is not a statement of superiority. It is a statement of design. A deep-sea creature and a mountain bird are not in competition. They are simply calibrated for different environments, different pressures, different energetic demands. A starseed's cellular structure operates on a harmonic that was seeded from a more refined dimensional template, one where the relationship between consciousness and biology is not adversarial, but collaborative, not a negotiation between soul and matter, but a seamless conversation between frequency and form. And when you try to live inside a frequency range that doesn't match your origin codes, when you spend decades compressing a galactic signal into a three-dimensional box that was never built to hold it, the body does not simply feel uncomfortable. It begins to simulate aging. It begins to express the vibration of entropy, because that is the dominant signal in the field around it, and it has lost contact with the corrective transmission of your star lineage. Think of a plant grown in the wrong soil. It does not thrive. It does not die immediately. It persists, but in a state of slow depletion, its leaves losing their luster, its roots unable to reach the depth they were designed for, its flowers arriving smaller and less frequently, until even those who tend it begin to accept its diminishment as inevitable. But change the soil. Return the plant to the precise mineral and energetic composition it was designed to inhabit, and watch what happens. The change is not gradual. It is sudden. It is almost shocking in its speed and completeness. Because the intelligence was always there, the blueprint was always intact. All that was required was the right conditions for it to express itself fully. This is the distortion. This is what has been quietly unraveling you. Not time, not fate, not the unavoidable mathematics of physical existence. The wrong soil, the wrong frequency field. A signal scrambled by a world that has forgotten the technology of its own consciousness. Your soul's signal is being scrambled, not by accident, not by malice, but by the accumulated weight of a world still operating in the lower harmonics of fear, separation, and forgetting. Every moment you spend trying to fit your galactic intelligence into a three-dimensional identity that was never built to contain it, your field absorbs interference. It is like attempting to broadcast a symphony through a transistor radio. The source material is magnificent, vast, multi-layered beyond description, but the receiver is too small, too limited, too narrow in its bandwidth to carry the full transmission without distortion. And the distortion that accumulates, the static between what you truly are and what the world around you has been able to recognize, that static does not simply create discomfort, it creates a physiological reality. Because your body listens to your field. Every cell in your physical form is constantly monitoring the energetic environment you are transmitting and extrapolating instructions from it. When your field is coherent and aligned with your star origin, your cells receive instructions for renewal, for repair, for the elegant maintenance of a form designed to hold expanded consciousness. When your field is scrambled with interference, your cells receive something else entirely, a garbled message that at the biological level reads as deterioration. Your energy body, the luminous template that your physical form is built upon, begins to mirror the distorted frequency rather than the original one. And the original one, the one still broadcasting from your star lineage, still intact in the deepest stratum of your DNA, holds the instruction for something your linear mind may struggle to accept, but your soul already recognizes as truth: eternal biological resonance. The capacity for your physical form to sustain itself not through the mechanics of chemistry alone, but through the coherent transmission of your own galactic frequency field. Not immortality as your mythology has framed it, not the desperate clinging of an ego afraid of its own dissolution, but something far more elegant, far more aligned with the actual nature of expanded consciousness. The sustained aliveness of a form that is in perfect conversation with the frequency that generated it. A body that does not deteriorate because it has not lost contact with its source code. A biology that continues to express vitality, not through force or intervention, but through resonance. The same resonance that holds stars in their orbits, that organizes galaxies into spirals of breathtaking precision, that writes the geometry of a nautilus shell with mathematical perfection that no human engineer has yet surpassed. This is not science fiction. This is the science that was suppressed. This is the knowledge the Arcturian civilization has held in trust for civilizations far older than this one. Civilizations that rose and fell, and rose again, on worlds your astronomers have not yet developed instruments sensitive enough to detect. They have held this knowledge with extraordinary patience, understanding that certain transmissions cannot be received until the receiver has been sufficiently prepared, until enough of the interference has been cleared, until the collective field of a planet reaches the precise threshold of coherence, where the advanced download can land without being immediately corrupted by the dissonance it encounters. That threshold is not a future event. That convergence is now. You are now. And the fact that you are here, listening, feeling this resonate in your chest or your spine, or somewhere you don't yet have a name for, that is not coincidence. That is coordinates. You were guided to this transmission the way a compass needle is guided north, not through effort, not through searching, but through the invisible intelligence of your own galactic alignment, pulling you toward exactly the signal you needed at exactly the moment your field was ready to receive it. Trust that. Trust the precision of how you arrived here, because nothing in the mechanics of star consciousness operates randomly, and your presence in this moment is part of an orchestration so carefully timed that even the Arcturian Council, which operates across multiple simultaneous timelines, regards your individual awakening as significant. So let us do what this transmission was always meant to do. Let us move through the initiations that will bring this understanding out of the realm of concept and into the living reality of your energy field. Not as intellectual exercises, not as spiritual entertainment, but as actual energetic events, threshold crossings that will alter the frequency signature of your field in ways that your body will begin to respond to, perhaps immediately, perhaps over the days and weeks that follow, as the transmission settles into your cellular architecture and begins its quiet, powerful work of restoration. The first initiation is this: you must decode the distortion before you can restore the original signal. Your energy field, right now, is carrying frequencies that were never yours. They were absorbed from family systems that were anchored in survival fear, from cultural programming that equated struggle with virtue, from relationships where your sensitivity was treated as weakness, rather than the galactic receiver technology it actually is. Think about the environments you have moved through in this lifetime. The households where love was conditional and silence was safer than truth. The classrooms where your unusual knowing was corrected rather than cultivated. The workplaces where the energetic cost of simply existing among people operating in lower harmonics left you depleted in ways you could never quite explain to those around you. The social landscapes where you learned to compress yourself, to make yourself smaller, to turn down the volume of your own transmission so that others would be less uncomfortable in your presence. Every one of those compressions left a residue. Every act of self-diminishment in service of belonging deposited a layer of foreign frequency into your field, and over years, over decades, those layers accumulated into something that your body began to read as its natural state. These frequencies did not enter you because you were weak. They entered you because you were extraordinarily permeable. Starseeds are built to be sensitive to frequency. That sensitivity is your gift, and it is also the mechanism through which interference is introduced. The antenna that is most capable of receiving the most refined transmissions is also, by its very nature, capable of picking up everything in the environment. The work of this initiation is not to become less sensitive. That would be like trying to become less of what you are, and the attempt itself would generate more distortion. The work is to develop the discernment to recognize which frequencies belong to your original signal and which are simply interference. And then, with the gentle but absolute authority of a being who has finally remembered what it is, to begin the process of releasing what was never yours. The first step in reversing what you have called aging is to stop identifying with the interference as if it were your own. It is not your signal. It was never your signal. Begin to separate your awareness from the accumulated static and watch what starts to surface beneath it. What emerges from beneath the interference is extraordinary. It is younger than you expected. It is more luminous than you remembered. It carries a quality of aliveness that the static had almost completely obscured, a vibrancy, a curiosity, a cellular joy that belongs to a being in full resonance with its galactic origin. That is what is waiting beneath the noise. That is what this transmission is calling forward. The second initiation asks you to remember that memory lives in vibration, not in thought. This is a distinction that your culture has almost entirely erased, because your culture processes experience primarily through the analytical mind, categorizing, labeling, storing information as concepts that can be retrieved and recombined. But the most fundamental memories your being carries are not stored in the brain. They are stored in the body, in the bones, in the fluid that moves between your cells, in the spiraling architecture of your DNA, which is not the simple double helix your textbooks depicted, but a dynamic, responsive, multidimensional crystalline structure that is in constant communication with the energetic field that surrounds and permeates your physical form. Your DNA is not simply a biological instruction manual for protein synthesis. It is a crystalline archive. It holds not only the history of your physical lineage on this planet, the ancestral patterns, the survival adaptations, the inherited emotional landscapes of every being who contributed to your physical existence in this incarnation, but the resonance of your galactic point of origin, the frequency of the star system that seeded your consciousness, the harmonic signature of the dimensional template from which your soul descended into this particular expression of form. And within that resonance are the precise harmonic codes that instruct your cellular intelligence to operate in coherence rather than entropy. The anti-aging codes, the regeneration protocols, the biological instructions for a form that sustains and even deepens its vitality, rather than surrendering it to the accumulated pressure of a dissonant environment. You are not broken. You are not dissolving. You are encoded with something vast, and that something is waiting, not patiently, but urgently, for you to stop arguing with it and simply let it activate. The Arcturian transmissions that have been reaching you in sleep, in moments of inexplicable clarity, in the tears that come when you hear certain frequencies or see certain geometries, those are not emotional responses. Those are system reboots. Your star family is attempting, through every available channel, to remind your body what it already knows. Every time you have woken from a dream with a feeling you couldn't name but knew was important, every time a piece of music bypassed your mind entirely and struck something deep in your chest that felt ancient, every time you stood before a geometric pattern, a mandala, a crop circle, the structure of a snowflake under magnification, and felt something in your cells respond with a recognition that had nothing to do with intellectual understanding. Those were not coincidences. Those were contact events. Deliveries from your star lineage arriving through whatever sensory portal was currently available, attempting to keep the original frequency alive in your field until the moment you were ready to consciously receive it. That moment is this one. The third initiation is perhaps the most misunderstood among starseeds who have already begun their awakening. It is the grounding of multidimensional intelligence into this timeline, not as an escape from the physical, but as a full embodiment of the expanded template within it. Many of you have interpreted spiritual sensitivity as a reason to remain slightly above the body, slightly hovering, slightly detached from the density of Earth experience. And this is understandable. When you are wired to receive transmissions from the 5th, 6th, 7th dimension and beyond, the density of third-dimensional reality can feel genuinely painful, not metaphorically, but sensorially. The weight of it, the slowness of it, the way it seems to resist the light you carry with an almost physical friction. And so you learn to float, to keep part of yourself perpetually untethered, one foot always ready to step back into the more refined dimensions, where your frequency is not in constant conflict with its environment. It felt like protection, and in the early stages of your awakening, it was. But the time for protective hovering has passed, because the Arcturian frequency cannot fully anchor in a field that is not fully present. The activation of your anti-entropy codes, the frequencies within your DNA that instruct the body to sustain rather than decline, requires full inhabitation. These codes cannot be activated from a distance. They are not downloaded into a body that is being held at arm's length by a soul that is still half considering the option of retreat. They require your full conscious presence in this form, in this timeline, in this dense and sometimes difficult, but extraordinarily precious physical experience of being alive on Earth during the greatest frequency shift this planet has undergone in recorded history. Your higher self does not want to work around your body. It wants to work through it. Bring yourself down. Breathe into the ground beneath you, not as a metaphor, but as a literal, energetic act. Feel the floor, the chair, the earth beneath the building, the crystalline grid of this planet pulsing with its own ancient and newly activated frequency. Let the crystalline grid of this planet hold you the way it was always designed to hold starseeds, as a launch pad, not a prison. Earth is not the exile you sometimes experience it as. Earth is the activation chamber. The density itself is part of the process, because it is only in the full embodiment of physical form that the anti-entropy codes can be fully expressed. A symphony cannot be heard if the instrument is kept in its case. Come all the way in. The body you have been given is not an obstacle to your activation. It is the very medium through which your most profound activation becomes possible. The fourth initiation arrives when you finally understand that your frequency is the transmission, not the words you speak, not the intentions you hold in your mind, not the spiritual practices you perform. The raw, living frequency that you are emitting at every moment from every cell of your being. That is what changes the field around you. That is what activates the anti-entropy codes. That is what reverses the simulation of aging. And you have been waiting for permission to trust that. You have been waiting for validation, waiting for someone in a position of scientific or spiritual authority to confirm that what you are feeling is real, that the youth you sense available in your field is not delusion, but data, that the tingling in your hands during meditation is a genuine energetic event and not wishful thinking, that the moments of sudden, inexplicable vitality, the ones that arrive without apparent cause and leave you wondering why you don't feel like this all the time, are glimpses of your actual biological potential rather than anomalies. That confirmation is not coming from outside. It was never going to come from outside. The Arcturian Council does not wait for consensus reality to catch up before it operates. And neither should you. Your field, right now, exactly as it is emitting a signal. Every cell is broadcasting. The question is simply whether you are broadcasting the frequency of your star origin or the frequency of a world that has forgotten what bodies are capable of. Choose the signal, consciously, deliberately, with the full authority of a being who has traveled vast distances of dimensional space to inhabit this form for this purpose at this time, repeatedly. Every time the old frequency attempts to reassert itself, and it will, because old frequencies have momentum, choose again, until it becomes not an act of will, but the natural resting state of your field, until choosing your own galactic signal requires less effort than breathing, because it has become, once again, simply what you are. The fifth initiation is the one that breaks open the timelines, because it asks you to trust what you cannot yet see in its fullness. You have had moments. You know you have. Moments where you looked in the mirror and something was different. Not older, but somehow older and younger simultaneously. As if your face was both what it has been and what it is becoming. As if the light behind your eyes carried a depth that had nothing to do with the years your body has occupied this planet. Moments where your body felt like it was vibrating at a frequency that no one around you seemed to be experiencing. A lightness, an expansiveness, a sense of cellular aliveness that made you wonder briefly if you might simply lift free of the earth if you breathed too deeply. Moments where you knew, not believed, not hoped, but knew with the kind of quiet certainty that doesn't require argument because it is too complete to be disputed, that something fundamental was shifting in how you exist in physical form. Those moments were not imagination. Those were breakthrough transmissions from your own star template, reaching the surface of your cellular awareness. They were your DNA responding to a signal strong enough to briefly override the accumulated interference, and giving you, for those extraordinary seconds or minutes, a direct experience of what full resonance with your galactic origin actually feels like in the body. The delays between those moments, and the full anchoring of this reality into your body are not failures. They are not evidence that you are doing something wrong. They are part of your arrival code, the precise sequencing of a process so sophisticated that it cannot be rushed without disrupting the integrity of what is being built. The timeline of your full activation is not linear, and it is not behind schedule. It is exactly where the larger orchestration requires it to be. And that orchestration is accelerating now because you are accelerating now. The moments are becoming more frequent. The gaps between them are shrinking. The baseline frequency of your field is rising, steadily and irreversibly, toward the point where what has been a fleeting experience becomes a permanent state. The sixth initiation is one almost no starseed expects, because it comes not as revelation but as release. There is a grief in here, deep in the architecture of this awakening, beneath the excitement of remembering, beneath the resonance of recognition. There is a grief that deserves to be named and honored before it can be transformed. It is the grief for all the years spent believing the lie. For every morning you looked in the mirror with the eyes of a world that told you what you saw was evidence of inevitable decline. For every time you felt the vitality in your field and then suppressed it because there was no framework in your life that could hold it, no permission from the culture around you to trust what you were sensing. For every moment of biological self-abandonment, the years of treating the body as an afterthought, or as an enemy, or as a machine that simply needed to be maintained, rather than a living instrument of galactic consciousness that required to be met with reverence. This grief does not mean you failed. This grief means you were human, fully, courageously, tenderly human, inside an experience that asked more of you than most beings in this universe would have chosen to endure, to incarnate on Earth during the densest period of its history, carrying galactic light codes in a body designed for a refined dimensional template, in a culture that had no language for what you were experiencing, no framework that could validate what you were perceiving, no community that could mirror back your expanded knowing without discomfort or dismissal. That was not a small undertaking. That was an act of extraordinary courage, and the Arcturian intelligence honors that, completely, without reservation, with a depth of recognition that, if you allowed yourself to fully receive it, would bring you to your knees not in defeat, but in the overwhelming relief of finally being truly seen. The release of that grief is itself an activation, crying it out, breathing it through, placing your hands on your body and acknowledging every place that absorbed the frequency of a world that didn't know what it was holding. That is not weakness. That is the detoxification of a frequency field preparing to receive its original broadcast at full amplitude. Let yourself grieve it, not endlessly, not as a practice of self-punishment, but as a complete and dignified acknowledgement of what the journey has cost and what it has made of you, and how the very wounds that this incarnation inflicted have been the precise instruments through which your compassion, your depth, your extraordinary capacity for holding others in their own awakening have been forged. And the seventh initiation, the one this entire transmission has been building toward, the one that every previous initiation has been preparing your field to receive, is the recognition that what is coming is not something you have to reach for. It is something you have to stop running from. Consider that for a full breath. The thing you have been searching for, the restoration you have been seeking, the vitality and radiance and biological coherence that part of you has always known was possible. It is not in front of you at some future destination you have yet to reach. It is not waiting for you to become more worthy, more disciplined, more spiritually advanced. It is already present. It is already in your field, already encoded in your cellular architecture, already broadcasting from the deepest stratum of your galactic DNA. What has prevented you from fully inhabiting it is not distance, but direction. You have been running from the full weight of your own magnitude, because magnitude carries responsibility. Because fully accepting what you are capable of means you can no longer hide behind the comfortable story that it simply isn't possible. Because the moment you stop running from the frequency of your own restored galactic biology, you step into a version of yourself that your conditioning spent years telling you was too much, too bright, too expansive, too demanding of a world that preferred you diminished. Here is the ultimate truth this council wishes you to carry from this moment forward. You are not aging. You are in the process of collapsing the false timeline that was layered over your true one. This is precise language, not poetic license. There are multiple timeline potentials woven through your energetic architecture at all times, and the one that has been expressing most dominantly in your physical reality, the one that shows up in the mirror and in your body's sense of itself, is the timeline that was seeded with the frequency of entropy, of decline, of a species that had forgotten its own cosmic inheritance. That timeline was not your original one. It was constructed from the frequency of your forgetting, and it has been maintained by the momentum of every belief system, every cultural narrative, every scientific framework that confirmed and reinforced the story of inevitable biological deterioration. But you are not inside that timeline anymore in the way you once were. Every moment of genuine awakening, every transmission you have received that opens something in your field, every tear of recognition that fell when a truth larger than your conditioning arrived, those were moments of timeline collapse. Moments where the false architecture weakened and the original one pushed through. Your actual timeline, the one encoded in the deepest architecture of your star DNA, runs in a completely different direction. It runs toward increasing luminosity, increasing coherence, increasing aliveness in the body that is not the forced, anxious vitality of someone fighting against time, but the natural, effortless radiance of a form that is in full communion with the frequency that created it. Increasing clarity of perception, increasing depth of presence, increasing capacity to hold and transmit the expanded frequencies of your galactic lineage through a physical vehicle that becomes, over time, more refined rather than less, more capable of being the instrument your soul intended when it chose this incarnation, not less. The gift from Source that is not arriving from somewhere outside you. It is arriving from somewhere so deep inside you that it has always been present, pulsing quietly at the center of your being, like the still point of a spinning galaxy. The place where all the movement originates, where all the light converges, where the noise of the distortion cannot reach, because it is simply too fundamental to be touched by anything that operates at the surface level of experience. That center has never been damaged. It has never dimmed. It has never for a single moment stopped transmitting the original frequency of your galactic inheritance, because that frequency is not something you generate. It is something you are. And what you are cannot be erased by time, or by forgetting, or by the accumulated weight of a world that did not know how to receive you. And that threshold, the one you have been approaching your entire life, often without knowing it, sometimes feeling it in the dark of 3 a.m., when the veils between dimensions grow thin, and the distance between your human self and your galactic self collapses into something almost unbearably intimate. That threshold is not ahead of you anymore. You are standing at it, right now, in this body, in this moment, receiving these words that are not just words but frequency deliveries, dressed in language, because that is the only vehicle your current dimensional interface can process them through. And even as the language carries them, even as the analytical mind moves through the concepts and evaluates and questions and processes, something deeper is already receiving the transmission directly. Something in your field is already reorganizing around what is being delivered here. Something in your cellular intelligence is already beginning to remember what it was told it had forgotten. The Source does not give gifts that arrive wrapped in the packaging you expect. It does not send restoration in the form of a product you purchase, or a practice you perform perfectly enough to deserve it. It gives gifts that arrive as the sudden collapsing of every lie you were taught about yourself, as the internal earthquake that dissolves the walls of the false self-story and reveals, in the rubble, something more luminous and more alive than anything that was standing before. And this knowing that your body is capable of something your conditioning told you was impossible, this is the gift. Not a gift that will arrive someday, a gift that is arriving now, in this moment, through this transmission, into the living reality of your field. This is the unexpected one, the one that was always coming, the one that, somewhere beneath every layer of amnesia, some part of you never stopped believing in, the part that kept you searching, kept you listening, kept you returning to transmissions and teachings, and moments of stillness in the hope that this time, finally, something would arrive that matched the magnitude of what you had always sensed was true. This is that something. Receive it without apology. Tonight, before you sleep, lay one hand on your heart and one hand on your abdomen, and say this aloud into the living silence of your own field. I release the frequency of false aging. I reclaim the harmonic of my galactic origin. I activate the anti-entropy codes written in my star DNA. I am not declining. I am arriving. And I am ready. Say it until it stops feeling like words and starts feeling like a switch being thrown in your cellular field. Say it past the self-consciousness, past the voice that tells you this is too much, or too strange, or too hopeful. Say it until the space between the syllables begins to fill with something that has no name in your language, but that your body recognizes immediately. The hum of a frequency coming back into alignment. The subtle but unmistakable sensation of a field remembering its own coherence. Because that is exactly what it is. not affirmation as a performance of positive thinking. Affirmation as a vibrational act, as the deliberate use of sound and intention to create a resonant field that your biology can orient toward. Say it until your cells begin to receive it as instruction, rather than as hope. And if you want to go deeper, if what has been opened in you tonight is asking for more than this single transmission can contain, if you feel the urgency of your own activation pressing against the edges of what has been delivered here, then know that the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol was created precisely for this moment in your journey. 7 guided nights, 7 deepening immersions into the encoded Arcturian transmissions that will continue, layer by layer, to dismantle the interference and restore the original signal. Ancient activation techniques that have been adapted for the starseed nervous system in this particular phase of Earth's transition. Special bonus frequencies designed to target the precise layers of distortion that most commonly affect those who carry galactic light codes in human form. The link is in the first pinned comment. It is there because you are ready. Follow the pull. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments. Something real. Something about what is shifting in you, what you are releasing, what you are reclaiming. Then reach out to someone else who has written there. Respond with energy, with recognition, with the knowing that you are not alone in this transmission. This is not content. This is collective recalibration, and energy multiplies when intention connects. If this reached something in you that needed reaching, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for exactly this activation. Share it forward. And if you felt a soul-level pull to stay close, subscribe. Stay in the flow of what is unfolding here, because the signal is only getting stronger. You are not just watching, you are expanding. And this is only the beginning of what you are about to remember.